In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. So in order to talk about the converse of the Pythagorean theorem, we need to remember the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, that's technically not the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem has a whole preamble beforehand. If for any right triangle with sides a and b and a hypotenuse c, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the converse to that would be a squared plus b squared equals c squared for any right triangle with sides a and b and hypotenuse c. So we can do the opposite or the converse of the Pythagorean theorem to identify if a triangle is right. We do that by plugging them in and seeing if it equals each other. But the first thing we need to know is what goes in for what. So I got three numbers here. Which one's A, which one's B, which one's C? Well, the only one we really care about is the C, because the C is the hypotenuse. Remember that word hypotenuse? It means the side across from the right angle. But in this case, we're going to use the definition for hypotenuse as the longest side. So of these three measurements, 12, 13, and 5, which one's the longest? 13. So 13 is going to go in for C. So we got 13 squared. Okay? And that has to equal a squared plus b squared. So 12 squared plus 5 squared. Could you do 5 squared plus 12 squared? Absolutely. Okay? Those two don't matter. The only thing that really matters is identifying that hypotenuse. Super important. All right. So now I'm going to actually do these operations here. 12 squared is 144. 5 squared is 25. 13 squared is 169. So 144 plus 25 is 169. So does 169 equal 169? Sure it does. So is it a right triangle? Yes, it's a right triangle because why? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if it weren't, you would just say because a squared plus b squared does not equal c squared. But in this case, it does. So it is a right triangle.